Imagine a stretch of water just 130 kilometers wide. On one side sits a rising global superpower of 1.4 billion people. On the other, a vibrant democratic island of 23 million that produces the microchips powering everything from your smartphone to advanced military defense systems. This is the Taiwan Strait. To understand why we are on the blink of conflict, we have to rewind to 1949. The root of this tension is an unfinished civil war. After World War II, China was torn apart by fighting between Mao Zedong's Communist force and Chiang Kai shek's nationalist government. The Communists won, taking control of the mainland and establishing the People's Republic of China. The defeated nationalists fled across the strait to the island of Taiwan, setting up there their own government. For decades, both sides claimed to be the true China, but as time passed, their paths diverged radically. The mainland grew into an authoritarian economic juggernaut. Taiwan, meanwhile, transformed into a flourishing progressive democracy and a technological powerhouse. Yet, Beijing has never relinquished its claim. To the Chinese Communist Party, Taiwan is a breakaway province and reunification is its sacred historical mission. For a long time, the world relied on a delicate diplomatic dance called strategic ambiguity. The United States recognized Beijing diplomatically but armed Taiwan to defend itself, never explicitly stating what it would do if China attacked. This maintained an uneasy peace known as the status quo. But the status quo is effectively dead. Under President Xi Jinping, China had modernized its military at a staggering pace, with explicit directives to possess the capability to seize Taiwan by 2027. Simultaneously, Taiwan has forged a distinct national identity. In 2024, Taiwan elected President William Lai of the Democratic Progressive Party, a party that firmly rejects Beijing's claim of sovereignty. To Beijing, this was a lead line. Which brings us to where we stand today. We are no longer in an era of peace. We are in a state of managed friction and severe gray zone warfare. China is no longer issuing verbal threats. They are running rehearsals for an invasion. Recently, the Chinese military has executed massive live-fire drills that essentially simulate a full-scale blockade of the island. They have fired rockets dangerously close to the Taiwanese shores, routinely breaching Taiwan's air defense zones and disrupting international flights. They are squeezing the island without firing the first shot of a formal war. In response, Japan has completely shifted its post-World War II pacifist stand, doubling its defense budget for 2026 and deploying cruise missiles, knowing that if Taiwan falls, Japanese security is fundamentally compromised. Now the question rises, why should the rest of the world care? Two words, silicon and sovereignty. Economically, Taiwan is the beating heart of the modern world. It is home to TSMC, a company that alone manufactures around 60% of the world's semiconductors and a staggering 90% of the most advanced chips. If China blockades Taiwan, the global supply chain freezes overnight. The production of the cars, medical devices, computers, and AI infrastructure would grind to a halt, triggering a global economic depression. Geopolitically, an invasion of Taiwan would force the United States to an impossible choice: abandon a democratic ally and surrender global supremacy to China, or intervene and trigger a direct war between the two armed superpowers. The tension in the Taiwan Strait is not just a regional dispute, it is the ultimate stress test of the 21st century world order. It is an unresolved ghost of the 20th century colliding with the trillion-dollar technologies of tomorrow. Whether this ends in cautious restraints or catastrophic escalation is the defining question of our time. Thank you for patiently being till the end. Stay tuned for more interesting facts.